Hi, everybody. As we get to the end of 2021, I wanted to take time and make this little video to for a couple of different things for just kind of looking back on the past year and looking at what's ahead. So, first of all, my first thing that I want to do is just say thank you to all my clients and followers. I really appreciate uh, you because you've helped me grow. You're helping me to become more of who I am in the work that I do, and also helping me to grow in the work that I'm here and that I'm doing. I the people I can say this specifically with the people that I've worked with directly, that it's been amazing to see you unfold and to you to grow into your self-mastery and becoming more of that strong person, beautiful, brilliant person that you are. And I'm sure that's happened to my followers as well, just that I haven't had the opportunity necessarily to see that directly in you. But if you've been doing your work, then I know it's true for you too. So just sending out a lot of my appreciation for that because it's a journey that we do together. So I provide a service, but um, you also help me. You come into that, and we help each other in very different ways. So I'm very appreciative of that, and want to recognize all of you for that. So 2022, boy. 2, 2, 2, a lot of 2s, a lot of, connections there. Usually 2s are about relationships, not that I know a lot about, numerology, but this should be an interesting year. Well, let's see how this turns out. My sense is that it's going to be a much brighter year, as we keep moving forward. We still have a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of things that need to be rectified and at the level of society and even at the individual level. But things are starting to really feel like they're opening up, especially for those of us who have done that deep work and have really looked within ourselves and changed what we needed to. So there's some things I wanted to share what's coming up in my business, what I'm looking at. And first of all, the first thing I wanted to talk about is my Coming Into Being series. So that's one of my public service uh, things I've been doing on a weekly basis of this fall. And I'm not quite sure what this is going to look like, but there's a sense that there's a shift that's needs to happen with that. So there's a shift in structure. The last Wednesday of December is going to be off. We're taking a break to end up the year, and we'll be back on the first Wednesday of January. So uh, it's coming through. This is not something that I'm planning out mentally. But it's just that feeling, working with what my senses of how it's structured, and just feeling into at the energetic and frequency level of what needs to happen. So that's in the works. So there's going to be something. It feels like it just needs to shift to become an even better product of all around. So if you're interested in joining us for that, that's on every Wednesday. That's been every Wednesday at 4 p.m. So we'll see how that unfolds for that structure. Um, Here on YouTube and on Facebook Live. There's more information on my website. You can go to my website and check that out if you're new to me. Uh, the other thing is events. So I've started getting that sense, that direction of going into doing singles events. And why events? Well, because events give us the possibility of focusing in on a particular uh, topic, a particular focus, and especially when we work with clients, you start seeing something that's showing up with the clients that needs to be addressed, but on a bigger scale than one on one. So that started coming to the surface, and there are already some things that are lined up. And what I have is in January, mid-January, there's going to be this is kind of our first official event. Uh, is on clearing out the old and bringing and really getting ourselves ready to be able to step into the new. And to do that, we have to like shift out, let go of these old, whether it's patterns, attachments, connections that no longer serve. And sometimes, we can do a lot of this for ourselves, but sometimes we need a little extra help. Now, it's interesting. It's like, well, why January? Why not doing it at the end of December? It's like, well, because December things are still coming to a close. And then we usually start the new year. And what happens, what I see happening with a lot of groups, it's like, okay, they do the solstice, which is fine. But there's this massive worldwide collective focus on December 31st and January 1st. In some areas, there's a little bit of a different, because the culture is different. There's the Chinese New Year, and there's some other New Years that happen later. But on a global level, there's still that influence of December 31st, January 1st, because of the business world mostly. Uh, and what happens is that people start kind of, before we get to the end, before we're really complete with the year, people start looking ahead to what they're going to do next. And a lot of that that comes from a place of like, okay, I didn't get to what I wanted to do this year, so let me start focusing on next year. And we really can't step into the new unless we're really prepared for stepping into it by clearing out the old, by clearing out what's no longer serving us. So the new year starts, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm really not getting into that. I'm gonna need, let's really focus in on that. So that's why we're kind of doing it in the middle of January there. Um, I've got after that, there's a self-mastery through self-care. So it's kind of funny because we think, okay, self-care, that's just making myself feel better, taking care of my body. And while that's true, there's an aspect that we often don't focus on, and it has to do with it's about mastering ourselves and who we are by taking care of ourselves. So getting into those patterns. So there's actually going to be two levels of that. And the first one is very basic and just sharing different tools. This is going to be a very interactive experiential class, a live class. For people that will come a little closer to spring, maybe in February, somewhere in February, March. There's another event that's in the works, is also bringing forth the pure feminine. So a lot has been done with that, and but I've just been compelled to come forward. You get this. How I work is again has to do with that guidance that I'm getting from a deeper place, and what's coming through, what's showing up for me to bring through. So it's not that it's not being done, but there are pieces that I'm bringing forth. It's a little different than what's being done out there by other people. So there's going to be for that pure feminine, and we keep building on that. We keep strengthening that for ourselves and bringing that into balance, um, and as well as the masculine. But it's coming forth right now. It's coming forth with the pure feminine. There's also going to be a class on money and money in connection with the pure feminine. So that should be a really interesting one. And that will be both of those classes are not don't have a fixed schedule for those yet, but they're going to be later, maybe in the springtime or something. And then there's another self mastery through self care class, level 2, and this is going to be much more. Uh, yeah, this is going to go deeper. This is going to be working at that non physical level, and so using are the components of the non-physical level that is part of who we are as part of our makeup as human beings, and how to work with these different components, and learning to tune into those, to tap into those, so that we know better how to support ourselves. And by being able to tap into those, you also start to learn to get to know yourself and learn who you are even more deeply. So that should be really interesting. Yeah, some very different information that I haven't really come across before. It has just kind of started popping in one morning. And it's like, this is really good stuff. So that's going to be coming forward for you later this year. My Pure Life infusions. So it's still going on with that. We've started in November and now in December and January. We're going to do a group and going to be doing this on an oncoming level, uh, on an oncoming basis, rather. It's the Pure Life infusions is about really reawakening that purity of life within ourselves, within the individual. So it's a very nourishing uh, uh, session, and it's once a week for four times for the month. So just very deeply nourishing, and in that nourishing space, it's also very deeply clearing of patterns and programs that are can sometimes take longer to work through because there's not that nourishment underneath that's coming in. Uh, one of the things that has really been coming to the forefront, especially in December. December's been a very kind of quiet month for me and really kind of going in internal and going into that deeper place and a quieter place. So when we have those uh, moments in our lives, whether it's on a weekend or it could be like a whole month or just a longer period of time, it's those deeper, quieter segments of time are really there's two reasons for those. One is to go into more deeply into ourselves and to clear more of what needs to be cleared out, get rid of more of the old stuff. But there's also another value in these deeper periods, and it's to provide that space for whatever we are to bring forth or whatever we are to birth into the world, to give it that space to come out, to unfold, to come out. So it's sort of like you're making a big stew. You've got to let it sit. And some stews you have to let them sit for a while. And because all the flavors blend in, they really develop while they're just sitting on the stove or in the oven and preparing. So those quiet periods can be very much about that. And by the quiet, we give that nurturance, that nourishment to what is in the process of coming out. Because otherwise, we're always digging around, we're always kind of refining, we're always kind of wanting to, and that can just destroy whatever you're trying to do. So there's been this sense of coming into a deeper balance within the self and within life. And so that has to do, when we come into deeper balance for ourselves, it's about coming into that deeper, truer rhythm of ourselves as we move through life. So this is a very individual thing, but it's also a much a larger thing. There's the individual rhythm. There's the rhythm of like for my business, my business has its rhythm, and so working with getting a clear sense of what those rhythms are and how to work with them. So this has an impact on my business, the events that I do, and the programs such as the Pure Life Infusions. Of course, it affects the sessions, but not in the same way, because what happens with these bigger kind of group events is that there is a rhythm of the group, there's a rhythm of me, and there's the rhythm of the unfoldment of the event. And so it's about bringing all of this together and bringing the balance and that harmony so that it has a greater impact on all of us. So it will have an impact on me as facilitator or creator of these events. And it will also have a greater impact on you as the participant, for those of you who choose to participate, because it's coming from a deeper balanced whole place. So it's not about pushing forward, getting something out there for uh, you to buy into. It's about providing that nourishment, that balance, that harmony within everything and how everything is done. So it should be a really interesting year. I look forward to connecting with you in whatever way that we connect in the ethers, or I hope to see you in an event or coming into being wherever. So have a wonderful end of the year, and I wish you the best in 2022.